Hey, what is up you guys, it's Wolfster, and today I'm going to show you guys how to create your own custom transitions for OBS for you to use in your streams, your recordings, whatever you may use. But the point of this video is to show you how to make those custom transitions. This is a remake of my old tutorial because it's a little outdated. This one's a little more up to date, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this one, give you guys a little more up to date version. I do want to preface, this is how to create them. If you already have one and you're not looking to make one, skip to my other video. I'm going to link it in the description. You also see like a little icon on screen, and that one will show you how to put them in OBS. This is simply how to make them, but if you're looking to how to put them in OBS, skip to the other video. So just an FYI, you're going to need two pieces of software in order to create this. Well, at least what I'm using Adobe After Effects, and then you're also going to need Media Encoder. Now, if you have After Effects, 90% chance Media Encoder is going to come with it, so you should be okay. If you're like pirating it and like getting it illegally, which I'm not condemning because I used to do that all the time, but you may or may not have it, but Media Encoder is the best way to render this out, and it will give you the best results. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with a new composition here in After Effects, and I like to use the default 1080 right here. So 1080 HDTV 1080 29.97, and we're only going to need it to be about like 2 seconds long. So I'm going to change the length here to 2 seconds. Everything else here looks good. I'm going to just name it main because it'll drive me nuts if I don't have a name for it. I can't stand it when it's just comp 1, comp 2. It like, oh, that organization drives me insane. So for this transition, we're just going to do a simple zoom in with some circles and then zoom out. So I'm going to go up here to the shape tool, and I'm going to hold down on the mouse button and go down to the ellipse tool. And I'm just going to click, hold shift, and if I wanted to, I can hold. If I hold shift, it's going to lock it to this proportion. If I hold alt, it will go from the, oh, okay, wrong one. If I hold control, it'll go from the center of wherever you clicked from. And if I hold control and W, the space bar, I can move it around wherever I want. So I just kind of want to generally get it centered. I'm going to correct it anyway. If your circle, by the way, does not look like this, it looks different, that's fine. What I do is go up here on fill, click on that box and choose a color. Let's just do, I think orange. Orange looks cool. If you want a stroke, you can leave the stroke and change it right here. I don't want a stroke, so I'm going to click where it says stroke in blue, and then I'm going to click this first box, and that will take it off. So that's how I want mine to look. Now I'm going to press V, or I can click up here the first option, the selection tool. So it just goes back to this selection tool. Come down here, and if you don't see it already, just open up under shape layer 1 and open up contents, ellipse 1, transform, and we're going to center the position. So make the position 0 and 0, and that will make it dead center in the center of your screen. So we're going to go to the ellipse path, and we're gonna make this pretty big. Actually, we'll do it about right there. We'll do about 450 because I like whole numbers. They look real clean. So what we're going to do after this is we're going to take the shape layer. I'm going to click on it and press S, and S is going to bring up the scale property. And we're gonna click the keyframe right here, and we're gonna go over. Actually, we'll start it on the first keyframe. Make sure your marker is at the beginning of this composition, and we're gonna make the scale 0%. So just click that and type 0, or you can just click and slide. But I want it to be 0%. And we're gonna go over to about maybe 20 frames over, give or take. We'll adjust this later if we need to, and we're gonna make it 100%. So you'll see that it scales in and it comes up. Now we want, actually, before I go any further, just go ahead and create the last point. We'll say at about, give or take 40 frames maybe. We'll go back to 0%. So if we look at this, if we play it back, that doesn't look very animated. It looks very boring. So we're gonna kind of make this look a little better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select both these points. I'm gonna right click on them, and I'm gonna click keyframe assist, and I'm gonna click easy ease, or it's F9 if you just wanna press the keyboard shortcut for it. Now here's where it gets a little fun. We're gonna right click, or we're gonna click on this first point, so it's selected, right click, go to keyframe velocity, and we're gonna do, I'm gonna say about 40% on all of these. Where it says 40%, change all those to 40%. Top and bottom will automatically change at the same time. Now on this middle one, we're gonna right click, keyframe velocity, we'll say 90 for all of them. And then the last one, same thing, right click and do 40 for all of these ones. Watch it back. Looks a little more lively and animated than the first one. I dig it a lot better. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this whole thing. Actually, I'm gonna take all the keyframes. I'm gonna slide them over just a little bit. So there's a little bit of a pause before it comes in. So it looks good. So that's the first part. And what I'm gonna do is if you want a logo to be there, I'm just gonna go ahead and import a picture. Illustrator logos. We'll do the FaZe Clan logo, just cause. So if you have a logo, you can just drop it in, drop it on top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shrink it down. So press S on the FaZe Clan logo here and scale it down a little bit. Now what I can do is if I like where it's positioned right there, check this out. I can select this parent pick whip tool and I can select the shape layer with it, and now it's locked together to that. So now it moves with that other one. I don't need to animate it. It's so nice. But I don't like that red, so just a quick thing, just a little extra for you if you guys don't want to. If you got like a solid logo like that, it's just a color you don't like, go up to the effects and type in fill, drop fill on it, and change the color to white or whatever you want. I think white will look fine. Also, I'm gonna press P while clicking on FaZe Clan. I'm gonna shift this logo down just a tad. So now that looks pretty good already, but if you notice, if I click this button right here, the transparency tool, this is all what's transparent. It's not fully covering the screen. We need to fully cover the screen in order for the transition to occur. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this shape layer, I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna press Control D or Command D if you're on Mac. It'll duplicate it. I'm gonna bring it below that first layer. So if I solo it, it looks exactly the same as that first layer. So you don't really see it. But what we're gonna do is you're gonna click on it and press U twice, the U button, U. And under size right here, just make the size go up a good bit. So, and also what we're gonna do is you're gonna need to change the color because you can't really tell there's a difference right now. So what I would recommend is like either go a little lighter or darker. So I'm gonna go a little darker. That actually looks pretty nice. So like that. Now if we play it back, that looks pretty cool already. But we want to keep layering it because we got to cover the whole screen. So same thing, click on it, Control D, duplicate it, drag it to the bottom, U twice, and we'll change the size on that one too. We'll go to like right there. Also change the color. A little darker. I know it's not proportional. If you're OCD, I'd make it proportional for each layer, but for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. Looks like I can do one more, so I'm going to Control D, UU, scale it up. I'm going to come over here to make sure it covers the entire frame. Just give it a little buffer room there. And then change the color yet again. So just like that, we got a nice little transition real quick. I mean, right here, we could call it quits and be done right here. I mean, if you guys know After Effects, you're welcome to add more to it. The key thing is just to kind of keep an eye on your transparency and make sure you have a spot somewhere in the middle where the entire frame is completely covered. So as long as you don't, also I'd make sure you don't have a lot of hang time. If I wanted to, I could actually come to about right here. I could press N, it'll move the time. Go to composition, trim comp work area, and it makes the whole composition a little shorter, so there's not a lot extra time on the end of the video. Also, if you guys want to add sound effects are totally awesome and will work as well, but make sure your volume levels on them are really not loud. If you have them pretty loud, you're not going to hear them on OBS, but your stream will, and they will blow your stream listeners or viewers' eardrums out. So make sure it's not too loud. But I'm not going to add audio just for the sake of this tutorial. We're going to say this is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to composition. Also, make sure this is all selected down here. You see how there's a blue box around it? Make sure that's selected. Go up to composition and go to add to Adobe Media Encoder Q. This is, if you guys watched my previous video on this, what we'd have to do is we rendered out of After Effects, went into Premiere, and then rendered out of Premiere. If you have Media Encoder, this saves you a whole step of having to go into Premiere. This will render straight out of After Effects, which is super nice. Saves you a ton of time. So Adobe Media Encoder will open up. You'll see this up here. Yours might look different. These are my default presets. Actually, I just realized that's one of my old videos I never rendered in here, so we're gonna delete that. But yours will look like this. So your settings might be a little different, but here's what you need to do. Under Format, click the little arrow. You need to go down to QuickTime. And now I already have a default preset set up right here, but I'm going to show you the settings, and if you want, you can click it and save it as a preset, so you can just quickly do a drop down, click this drop down area and select it next time. So click on the blue text, it'll open up this dynamic link. All right, so up here, we're going to leave preset as how it is. We're going to change video codec to animation. And now what you're going to do is you're going to click match source. That will match the frame size and the frame rate. But the most important thing you need to do is scroll down here and click render at maximum depth and click 8 BPC plus alpha, and that's it. Now, if you don't have audio, I would recommend unchecking export audio, but if you do, just leave export audio. Now, if you do want to save this and go back and use it again, click Save Preset. You can type it in and name it whatever you want. I'd name it like Alpha Channel or something like that, but I'm not going to click OK because I already have one. So you just click OK, and then it would be up there in the presets. So I already have one, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now this one under here, this blue text, is where it will be saved to. I'm just going to do it to the desktop. We'll just name it Tutorial. We'll click Start Queue, and it will render. And just like that, you should have your file completely rendered. And all you gotta do is drop it into OBS and use the transitions. But if you don't know how to do that, don't worry. I made a video on it as well as referencing to earlier. So if you guys want to watch the video on how to properly import this into OBS, be sure to click the video in the description and go watch part 2, man. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Be sure to check out part 2 for more help on adding these transitions to OBS. But I hope this helped. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Peace out.